Welcome to The Joy Factor, a podcast dedicated to helping you create a path to joyful living each and every day. We're sharing inspiration from real people combined with practical tools you can use to unleash the playful and joyful spirit already inside you. Now, here's your host, therapist, life coach, and yoga teacher, Julie Hansen.
Hello, and welcome to the Joy Factor podcast. So last year, my family moved to Frederick, Maryland, and while it was an exciting adventure, moving across the country was really stressful. And once we got here, I felt kind of overwhelmed because we didn't know a single person in our new town. One day, as I was exploring and trying to figure out my way around, I came across Sass Magazine, and it totally lifted my spirits. According to their website, Sass Magazine is a women's lifestyle and professional magazine focused on Western Maryland and surrounding regions. For me, it was a source of hope and inspiration. It helped me orient myself to my new environment, and it also got me excited to learn just how cool the town I live in really is. Today, I'm excited to interview Kim Dow, who is the founder of Sass Magazine. Her lifelong dream to start her own magazine has been achieved, and now the fruits of her labor bring more joy into the lives of the women who read it. And as one of those women, it is a real treat to talk to her today. I hope you enjoy the show. All right, Kim, thank you so much for joining me today on The Joy Factor.
Thank you for having me.
I would like to start by finding out what led you down the path to creating your own magazine.
Okay. Well, I first started a graphic design company called Kalico Design, and that company has been around for about 8 years now, and we found ourselves doing a lot of magazine design, and we loved doing it. We enjoyed the magazine design and layout, but it got to the point where I wanted to have a little bit more involvement in some of the magazines. I didn't want it to just be doing the creative side. I wanted to be involved with the editorial side and the advertiser side and having a specific audience. So that was happening through my design company. And at the same time, I really started looking around our community and realized we really don't have a publication or a resource that's specifically geared towards women in our community, working women in our community, what we like to do, where we like to go, what maybe our career questions are, things like that. So I kind of put the two and two together and just decided that we were going to start Sass.
Very cool. And I can say, just from having noticed your magazine, and I was looking last night actually at it, and I was just thinking, there are so many things in here that are relevant to me. Like maybe they are not totally serious topics all the time, but it's almost like a little vacation that you can take.
Oh, that's awesome to hear you say that.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, and so I know that, that's one little way that I can bring more joy kind of intentionally into my life, like by seeking out things like Sass Magazine and just saying, you know what, I am going to put my feet up and kick back and see what's going on in this magazine. I would like to know, what's your sense of how Sass is helping other women create more joy in their lives?
I think one of the big things is a sense of connection with other women, not necessarily, well, for one, getting to know other women through the magazine, or meeting them at some of our events that we've started to host, things like that, but not so much necessarily getting to know the women like one-on-one, but just connecting in the stories. Who have struggles that are the same as other women, who have triumphs that are the same as other women, who have questions that are the same as other women, who have things that they enjoy that are the same. And I think that the magazine serves to to be a way for women to connect with each other and inspire each other through their stories.
Great. How has your work doing this helped you create more joy in your life?
I would say the most rewarding part about Sass is that I get to meet these amazing women with phenomenal stories who I probably wouldn't have met otherwise. Our paths probably wouldn't have crossed. And it always is amazing to me that they want to share their story with me, with Sass. So I think that that's where I find the most joy, is just learning, listening, and getting to know them in a way that I probably never would have otherwise.
And how great is that, that wasn't necessarily your intention for starting the magazine. Like, you wanted to meet the need for these women in the community, but then it's almost like this bonus of, and I get to meet them.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Each time we interview somebody new or do a photo shoot with somebody new, it's just kind of one more really cool connection that I have to this, to a new woman who I might not have had that otherwise. And I think that that's not just for myself, but I think that sometimes we'll do articles about women who are enjoy the same hobby or who are in the same profession who might not have known each other otherwise. And it's really cool to also see them connect through the magazine as well, and then stay in touch afterwards. So that's also really rewarding for me, just to see that connection.
All right. I would love if you would share advice from someone that has inspired you or taught you about living more joyfully.
Okay, I would say that someone who has been my joy role model throughout my life growing up would be my grandmother, my Greek grandmother. So we called her Yaya. She passed away a little over a year ago, but she lived until she was in her mid-90s, and her whole life was, whenever I saw her, at least, whenever she was around her family, she was always full of joy, always laughing, always singing, always dancing, always looking at the bright side of things, even if something negative had happened or if she was upset about something, she would always find a way to look at the positive side and kind of let it roll off of her back and then just celebrate what she had versus maybe what she didn't have. So I would definitely say that Yaya was a joy role model. And I would also have to say, and he'll be embarrassed that I said it, but also my husband, Jimmy, he's definitely a role model for me. He has a way of looking at the world so that he doesn't get dragged down by other people's negativity or other people's complaining or things like that. He definitely has a way of looking forward for how he can do things in his life. And he's kind of taught me how to look at things that way as well, because it's we all know that it's easy to get kind of wrapped up in negativity or somebody else's drama or something like that, or even our own drama. But he's really taught me how to kind of get outside of that and look at things almost from outside of it.
So for both Jimmy and Yaya, it would be interesting to step inside their minds and think about, well, what are they saying to themselves that makes this possible? And if you think about just having had relationships with both of them, when you think about moments where you're struggling with your own joy or maybe just your own sanity some days, right?
Yes.
What steals your joy and how do you get it back?
What definitely steals my joy is stress. I am managing 2 businesses, which is a lot of work, and with it comes a lot of stress. Although I love both of my businesses and I love the work that we do for both of them. So I find joy in the work. Sometimes it does get a little overwhelming to try to balance the 2. And so this has been a definite learning curve for me as I've started Sass, the second business, to sort of figure out a way to manage the overwhelm. I'm still working on it. But some of the things that I do is really allow myself to take time out for myself, for my family, for my friends. I read. I'm an avid reader. I love reading books ever since I could read. I used to get in trouble because I would be reading instead of like doing my chores growing up. So I always make sure to read almost every day. So I set aside a little bit of time for me to have kind of that escape time of reading a great book. And then I also try to go outside a lot. I love the outdoors. I mean, even in the 90-degree heat, I love being outside. So I try to, on the weekends, take some time off and go to the beach or, go to the river or go fishing or take a hike or just go out in my garden if I don't have a whole lot of time. Just little things to be able to go outside.
Well, and I know some of your, some of the stories in Sass have kind of reflected that a little bit. And I don't know that you're writing every single story, but it's nice to kind of be reminded. I'm thinking about Rehoboth Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been there. I'm pretty new to Maryland, but I definitely was like, I am bookmarking this tip sheet. Like, I don't remember the name of the article.
Yep. Top secret places of Rehoboth, I think it was.
And again, I read it and I was like, I am going to put this away and make this happen. Maybe not this summer, but in the future.
There you go. Yeah, I love going to new places. I mean, even if it's just driving down a road that I maybe haven't driven down before, just to take an alternate route. So traveling or discovering just new places, that also gives me a little bit of joy each time I do that.
Do you have one or two online or entertainment resources that you would recommend to help our listeners if they're looking to kind of amp up their own joy practice?
I find resources and inspiration pretty much everywhere. I would tell people to try to do the same, whether that's just watching, like just sitting and doing some people watching and, watching how people interact, or finding inspirational articles or motivational articles online, or just finding, like I said, a really good inspirational book to read. I like to always keep my eyes open anytime I see something that is going to inspire me or bring me joy or bring me happiness, regardless of what form it takes. I just will always stop and pursue that for a moment or two. So I would encourage everybody to do that as well. You can find it all around you if you open your eyes to it.
Right. And so I think that's an excellent point, that it really is to put that somewhere on your list, right? Like everybody's got a to-do list.
Yep.
But I think we forget to put, all right, stop and notice.
Yep.
Okay, how can our listeners find you? And do you have any special programs or anything you want to tell us about that you're working on?
Well, people can find me if anybody ever needs any graphic design work. They can find me through Kalico Design. It's Kalico with a K, no S on design, and we can be found at kalicodesign.com. Or for Sass, you can pick up our print issues pretty much all around the area in shops, salons, doctor's offices, places like Wegmans and the Common Market, the Frederick County libraries. You can pick up a printed copy, or you can also sign up for a subscription if you want magazines mailed to you. That can be found on our website, which is sassmagazine.com. And also on our website, we have at least weekly, if not more frequently, additional articles that you can't find in our print magazine. So I would also encourage people to go online and read some of the articles that you might find inspiration from, or resources or information there. We also are active on social media. We can be found on Facebook or Instagram, and our handle is Sass Frederick. And we also have a Pinterest account where we're going to be, we've just started that, but we'll be kind of pinning great articles for women, whether that's, fun, like fashion and beauty articles, some more serious articles about things that women face, or things about your career. So I definitely encourage people to start following us on Pinterest as well. Fall issue will be out the beginning of September, so be on the lookout for that. And we also have a really great event coming up on September 9th. We have partnered with F&P Events and Frederick Playlist. We'll be presenting, it's going to be called Goddess Jam, and it will be celebrating women in music and arts. So there'll be four 4 different bands celebrating women musicians, plus a bunch of pop-up shops, food. It should be a great time. And for tickets, you can go to sassmagazine.com and you can look at the link for that. And then last, sorry, this is a lot. There's a lot of ways to get in touch. But last, we are always looking for nominations for people to nominate somebody for us to spotlight in our magazines. We have 4 spotlights. That's a business spotlight, which can be either a women-owned or oriented business, and Inspire, Empower spotlight, which would be a woman who has gone through a lot of struggles and has used those struggles to sort of take control of her life and talk about how those struggles got her to where she is today and how that can inspire others. We have a Woman to Watch spotlight, which is for women who are doing pretty amazing things and who are essentially just doing it because that's who they are, not because they want the recognition or, things like that. They just do it because that's who they are. That's a part of them. And then our last one is our fashion spotlight. So if you know anybody who just has a really great positive, style sense, we're always accepting nominations. And there's a nomination form on our website at sassmagazine.com. And then of course, we're always also looking for advertisers as well.
Okay. Do you want to tell us anything about that?
Well, our advertisers are actually essentially what allow us to produce Sass Magazine. So we have advertising options for print and digital, and we're always looking for advertisers who want to get in front of women in our community. So there's a lot of great opportunities for that. And again, there's a media kit on our website, or you can contact advertising@sassmagazine.com if you're interested in advertising.
Beautiful. So a great opportunity to advertise not only to women, but also to support something that's really important to the community. And I just can't thank you enough for joining me today to chat a little bit about joy.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on. This was a lot of fun.
Great chatting with Kim today. Wherever you are, I hope my talk with her will inspire you to look around and notice the folks who are there to help remind you to step back and carve out more joy in your own life. Allow yourself to take a time out to do whatever's going to help you make this a priority in your everyday life. The Joy Factor is still number 17 in the new and noteworthy science and medicine podcasts on iTunes. So even though the podcast has been out since May, we are still showing up, and we're showing up on the main page of iTunes under the science and medicine category. And that's because people are listening, they are subscribing, and leaving reviews. So if you're one of those people who has supported us, thank you so much. If you have been thinking about going and leaving a review, I would really appreciate it. You can hop on over to www.thejoyfactorpodcast.com and just click on the review button and tell me what you think. Also, you can join me on Facebook by searching for The Joy Factor. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for listening.
Thank you for listening to The Joy Factor. For more information, visit www.thejoyfactorpodcast.com.